What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL playoffs, wild card round.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon.
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for this week's NFL slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, let's take a look at the quarterback position. I like Ben Roethlisberger from the Pittsburgh Steelers playing the Cleveland Browns, who have the 12th worst defense overall, and they give up the 7th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Ben Roethlisberger has averaged 19.6 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 29 fantasy points last game. He got 2 rush attempts. He's projected at 18 fantasy points here in the wild card round of the playoffs. And he's 6,100 DraftKings salary and 1,400 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 46.5 points scored in this game, and they have the Steelers favored by 4.5. So Big Ben got a break last week. He got the week off, so he should be rested, game planned, ready to go. He's got a great matchup, and his salary's pretty low. So I like Ben Roethlisberger here versus the Cleveland Browns. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. I'm going to give you a value play here. I like JuJu McKissic from the Washington football team playing the Tampa Bay Bucks, who have a good defense overall, and they've been good versus opposing running backs, but JuJu McKissic has averaged 12 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5.3 rush attempts per game and 6.9 pass targets per game. He scored 23 fantasy points last game off of 4 rush attempts and 10 pass targets. So it's those pass targets that make him a valuable DFS player, and he's only 4,900 DraftKings salary and 500 more on FanDuel, projected at 12.2 fantasy points here in the wild card round of the playoffs. Vegas thinks there's going to be 45.5 points scored in this game, with the Washington football team trailing by 8.5. So although the Tampa Bay Bucks are good versus the run, JuJu McKissic is going to get a lot of those short passes out of the backfield, and with 10 targets in the last 2 games, in each of the last 2 games, so 20 targets over the last 2 weeks, you're playing a running back and a wide receiver in one player at a low salary. So I like JuJu McKissic here versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. Real quick guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, who do we have at the wide receiver position? I like JuJu SmithSchuster from the Pittsburgh Steelers playing the Cleveland Browns, who have the 12th worst defense overall, and they give up the 6th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. JuJu SmithSchuster has averaged 14.7 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 8 pass targets per game. He scored 25 fantasy points off of 13 pass targets last game, projected at 14.9 fantasy points here in the wild card round of the playoffs. He's 5,500 DraftKings salary and 1,000 more on FanDuel. So this is a great matchup for JuJu SmithSchuster. He's not dancing on the logos anymore.
He's dancing in the end zone. His salary is low. He makes a nice stack with Ben Roethlisberger. So I like JuJu SmithSchuster here versus the Cleveland Browns. Okay, moving on to the tight end position. I like Mark Andrews from the Baltimore Ravens playing the Tennessee Titans, who have the 5th worst defense overall, and they give up the 13th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Mark Andrews has averaged 12.2 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6.3 pass targets per game. He scored 14 fantasy points last game off of 11 pass targets. He's projected at 12.2 fantasy points here in the wild card round of the playoffs, and he's $5,200 DraftKings salary and $1,800 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 54.5 points scored in this game, with the Baltimore Ravens favored by 3.5. So you got a super high scoring game, a good matchup, a close competitive game. So I like Mark Andrews here versus the Tennessee Titans.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.